Roger that. Target is 76. Your operation flight is successful.
Hey everyone, I'm gonna give you an example of how to start up a mercenary air campaign for missile threat. So first thing you want to do is take this zip file that you downloaded from Wargame Vault along with the PDFs and just open that up, extract it, and that should give you pretty much everything you need to play. I'm just going to delete that, and I probably want to have my the PDF in there as well. Let me just grab that. Not this one. Nope. Okay, so I've got my the PDF there as well. So in this, I can scroll down to the actual Mercenary Air Campaign starting page, which is like page 17. And I want to start on page 18 here, which is campaign start. So in the files we downloaded, we should have a weapons market and mercenary roster. We'll open it up. And I'm using OpenOffice here, which is a free word processor. You can probably use Microsoft Word as well, but this is what it was originally written in, so it's probably be the most accurate as to what we're looking for. And it's free and quick to download, so might as well just get it. So what we want to do is we want to choose a difficulty level, and I'm going to choose average mode, which is 2 pilots and a respectable pool of funds. So I've got 2 pilots. Let's say I'm starting in the 1980s, for example. We're also supposed to choose, we're supposed to choose an actual time period. So I'll go ahead and put that in. Let's see, I can put it in. Here we go. Period here. 1980s. I also need to choose an alignment. Let's say I'm going with the rebels. You choose either rebels or government, and there'll be a theater we'll choose later on as well. So looking back at this, say we're in the 80s, we're going to start with 60 points of funds. So I'll put up here 60. We know it's 60 points. We haven't chosen our theater yet, but we can convert that to the actual funds once we do that. And then we want to roll for our pilot quality as well. So the camera's having a lot of fun trying to focus here, but hopefully I'll be able to bring these up and you can see what's going on. So I'm going to roll a d6. I've got 2 pilots, so I'm going to roll twice. First pilot is a 2, so he's average. So I'll go in here. I've got, or I did have some pilots. We'll just call him Pilot 1, Pilot 2. Quality average, the first one. And the second one we will re-roll. It's a 1. So he's also average. So 2 average pilots. Condition, they'll start out okay. And they start with 0 experience. There's no contract or anything because we didn't hire them. They're just our mercenary team. They're kind of a group of friends or whatever who decided to become mercenaries, or a group of ex-pilots. Okay. So we've done this page. We've got 60 points worth of funds. We next want to choose our period. So we've chosen 1980s. And then we want to choose our theater. So let's go for, say, Central South America, or Central South Africa. So I'll write that in here with rebels. Let's say Central Africa. Okay, so that's cool. What else do we need to do? So usually here we'd choose our alignment, either government or rebels. I'm going to choose the rebels. So for our money, we're going to be in Central South Africa. So points equals 1 million rand. So 1 point equals 1 million rand. So all we need to know is that 60 equals 60. 1 equals 1. We can put 1 million rand here. And that's nice because we don't have to convert anything. Some of the other currencies you have to, for example, rubles is 2 points times 2. Middle East is points equals 500,000 US dollars, that kind of thing. So this one's easy. in that we don't have to multiply anything. Okay, so we're pretty much all set up here. Now we can kind of start playing the campaign. We're going to be rolling D66 in this campaign, which means rolling 2 dice. If I say the blue is the tens and the red is the ones, roll D66, that would be a 3-3 or a 33. And you can see there's some tables here that, for example, this one, I just rolled a 3-3, which is going to be a 33 here, which would be a combat air patrol medium risk, for example, on this new available mission. So that's how you roll D66. I'll roll another one. Remember, the 1 is the tens. Sorry, the blue is the tens. So 4-2. That's 42, which would be this one here. Strike, medium mission. Strike, medium risk. So that's rolling a D66, and those are quite common in some RPGs, especially Traveller, for example. Uses a lot of D66 tables. Okay, so let's start the weapons. Start the Mercenary Air campaign by first generating a weapons market. Okay, on the first turn of the game, generate D6 plus 5 new available aircraft and D6 plus 5 new available ordnance. So I'm going to scroll up on our weapons market Mercenary roster. Got aircraft market here. I go D6 plus 5, which is a 2. So I got 7 total. I'll just take a note of that down here. We're going to have 7. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to new available aircraft and ordnance. There should be a 1980s Central South Africa. 1970s, 1980s Central South Africa. What I'm going to do is actually just copy that screen because we're going to be using this table a lot. So I'm just going to print screen that. So let's generate some aircraft. Now usually I'd be doing this on two separate screens. So usually I'd have this on one screen and my my weapons market, not that one, but this one on the other screen. Okay, so rolling some D66. I'll use this to, I could probably just open it as an image, but here we go. Rolling D66 for new aircraft. So this is the blue will always be the ones. Sorry, the tens column. So 4-4. That is a SA-342 Gazelle. So right now I'm going to go back to our files, and we have a complete aircraft and ordnance list. So I'll open that up. And we're going to go down to... So if we open this file, we can see we want... What were we looking at? We were looking at SA-316 Alouette 44, a Gazelle. So that's a French aircraft. And we need to go to French helicopters 1980s, which is page 19. 19. Gazelle. Okay. You can also just open this and just... I'm opening this complete aircraft and ordnance list in OpenOffice as well. That way we can copy and paste. And you can also just press Control F and search for Gazelle, for example, if you don't know what faction or period it's from. You can just search it and find it that way. So I don't think it's a British one. No, it's not the British version, so we'll keep searching. And that should be it there. French helicopters 1970s. I think the later one is a 342 Gazelle. Oh, we have the same aircraft in both the 70s and 80s. That's cool. They're both exactly the same, so I don't think it matters too much. I'm not sure why that's in there twice. Sometimes you find errors like this. Anyway, they're exactly the same, so clearly that's in there twice for some reason. God knows. Alright, and we're just going to highlight that whole line and copy it. And we'll put that into our weapons market. We'll go paste there, go to aircraft. Now, because the helicopters are slightly different to the aircraft, they don't have a speed bonus. If you look in here, there's no speed bonus. Instead, we have a max speed. So it's slightly different, the layout between these two tables. So you kind of just need to, if I can just minimize this, we'll kind of see what's going on. Minimize this one as well. You can kind of see both at the same time. So my speed bonus is actually a max speed. I don't really have a turn rate because I'm a helicopter, but I do have a contact size. And essentially you just need to take everything from turn rate onwards and paste it back in here. And that'll line everything up. So now we can see we have the range 4, radar range 18, ceiling 2, hardpoints 4. And that's it. We don't have a turn rate or anything. Cool, so let's do the next aircraft. That was a 4-4 Gazelle. And the blue is the 1, so now I have a 3-5, which is a SA-316 Alouette 3. So we're getting lots of helicopters at the moment, which is not bad way to start. Complete aircraft. So, wait a second. 4-4 was a Gazelle. Okay, now I've got an Alouette 3, which should be in French helicopters 60s, 1960s. Alouette 3, there we go. And we're just going to remember take from turn rate onwards and just copy that into contact size and everything will be fine. Cool, next one. We've got a 6-2. If we look at this one, 6-2 is a MiG-23 ML. So we'll find that. We'll just kind of find this time. Now if you go find with something highlighted, it'll only search within that highlight. So I actually need to unselect that and then go find. We want to look for a MiG-23 ML. And that'll take us straight to it. There we go. We'll stick that in there. I believe that's right. 6-2 MiG-23 ML. Yep, cool. Let me just paste that right in. That's ready to go. Now remember we're generating 7 aircraft here. We've just done 3. Okay, 3-3. We have a T6 Texan. T6. Oh, it's looking at AT6s now. T6 Texan. There we go. And that's like a training aircraft, US 60s training aircraft. That's cool. So once you get in the hang of it, it's pretty quick. Next one, 3-1 is a Mirage F1CZ. Find Mirage F1. We want to find the CZ. Where is he? There we go. Which I believe is the South African variant of the Mirage there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 2 more to go. Okay, 2-1 is another Mirage F1CZ. So we can just copy that over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 1 more to go. 5-5. So essentially we're seeing kind of what's on the black market or what's on the market we can actually buy. And that's, you can't just go in and buy an F-16 from someone, you know. There's specific aircraft that are around, and they're usually older aircraft. For example, we're seeing a lot of 1960s era French helicopters. A MiG-23 is, I mean, that's 70s era, but it's pretty decent for this period. If you're a rebel with a MiG-23, you're not going to be doing too badly. And so our last one was a 5-5, which is 55 Mirage 3E, which is a South African variant. So Mirage 3, let's see, here we go, Mirage 3E, and notice we're in South African aircraft here. So we don't want to use Mirage 3E from a French version instead. So here we go, stuck that in. So those are all our aircraft. Now when you I'll just go back to, this is why it's good to have that that table in a separate image, because you're often going backwards and forwards. Okay, so right now we've generated our first aircraft. I'll have to do Ordinance as well, and in fact I'll do that now. So we've got D6 plus 5 different Ordnance, which will be 7, and it says here in the 1980s there'll be a minimum of 6 available Ordnance entries. So if you roll less than 6, there'll always be at least 6, because as time goes on, there's so many different types of Ordnance that you want to be able to find the stuff you need. And so that's why as the periods get later, we make sure there's more available Ordnance in the weapons market. Because otherwise you'll have a MiG-29 or something, but you'll never get the right missiles for it. Cool. So we have 2 plus 5 is 7. But is it 5? Yep, 2 plus 5 is 7. So, and we're 1980s, so that's fine. We're going to have 7. Oops, I can delete this now. We're going to have, and often I just delete these rows when I don't need them as well. And I can go into Ordnance Market. We're going to have 7 of these as well. And that includes the bombs and rockets, which are just always there. So essentially we have to generate 5 more ordnance. So now we use the same picture, and we're now generating ordnance. So let's go for it. 1-1 is a R550 Magic Mark II. So we'll go to complete ordnance. Fine. R.550. Magic. We want a Magic Mark II though. Here we go. Close this guy. Copy that in there. Magic Mark II. Now, let's see. These aren't quite... Because we have a number available here, we also need to actually copy this across a little bit. Because there's an extra column here. And the number available is always 2d6. So roll that. We have an 8. And our next ordnance is a 2-1. Which is a hot missile for a helicopter. So I'll search for that. Hot missile, close. Cool. Grab that. Stick it in there. Okay, so what's happened here? Oh yes, so the helicopter ordnance is slightly different from aircraft ordnance as well. So you kind of just need to make sure things are in the right place. These will be in notes. I'll just open this up a little bit. This will be in notes. This is the aspect. That's the range. Now let's put wide angle here. And you can kind of put it in 20 if you want to. 20 degrees outside of the nose, just so you remember. And the number will be 11 of those. Can any of the aircraft actually fire those? Yeah, so none of our... Oh, the Gazelle can actually fire those, so that's good. That's cool. We're finding weapons we can actually use here. So we could potentially take a helicopter and buy some of these hot missiles. Or HOT, I don't know exactly how people pronounce that, but that's pretty cool. It doesn't say what type it is, but it looks like it's an air-to-ground missile, so I'm just going to put an ATGM in here. Essentially what it is, it inflicts 1 point of damage on armored units. Ground damage. And that could be on not just armored units, but mission targets, that kind of thing. Cool. Okay, that's good. Cool, we'll generate our next one. It is a 5-4. 5-4, which is a R13M Atoll, which is the very old K-13 missile. R13M. There we go. That's kind of an updated version of the Atoll. You can see it's pretty crap. Successful launch on a 4+, so it's 50-50 whether this missile's going to work at all. And I'm doing 7 of these, aren't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 2 more to go. And remember, I need to copy that over there. Roll how many are available, which is 11. Quite nice. And now we'll generate our last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 to go. 4, 5, which is a V3A Kukri. There we go. So it's quite quick when you can copy paste. It's quite easy. Put that in there. Copy that. Like that. Roll how many we have. We have 9. It's not too bad. Can any of our aircraft we have actually fire that? Oh, V3A, yeah. They can use V3As, these Mirages. So that's pretty cool. And the Mirage 3. So there's a few good options there. Unfortunately, we don't have too much money. We only have 60 million rand. And some of these... 60. Oh, so we could actually afford, we could buy 2 of these potentially, with 1 for each of our pilots, which is pretty good. Not too bad, and maybe still have some money left over for missiles. Each of these aircraft and missiles, the price may not quite be that, because we may see that they're more expensive or actually cheaper, so we'll roll for that after we've generated all this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more ordnance to go. 6, 3, which is a R13M atoll, another one. So we'll just copy that over, and we'll re-roll the number available, which is 8. Cool. So that's all like ordnance and aircraft setup. It might seem like a lot of screwing around to start with, but you don't only have to do this kind of once to start with, and then after that you won't be generating as many. You might be generating 1 or 2 per turn if you visit these markets, and you don't have to visit these markets at all. You just come back when you're looking for something. So most of this busy work is done at the start of the campaign, just setting it up, and then you're home free. Okay, so we've sorted this out. We've generated new aircraft and ordnance. Available aircraft. That's fine, we did that. Getting a bargain, having to pay more. Okay, so here's where we need to alter our prices. So essentially we just roll the dice and see how much we have to alter our prices by. I'll just put this down here so I can see what's going on. And now all ordnance is, I'm just going to delete all the US dollars and million rubles here. We don't need those. I'll do the same up here. We don't need that. We're just looking at millions of rand. And in fact, you can just use the points value. You don't really need to worry about that. You could just, if you want to, you could rename this million rand and just have, well, it doesn't really work, but you could just essentially delete. They're the same thing, so you could delete one of them and ignore them if you wanted to. Ordnance is divide by 10 the cost of all ordnance, so they're actually this much each. And this just puts things more in line with actual costs and allows you to actually buy stuff. Because you're paying 4 million rand for a R550, you're going to go broke pretty quick. Cool, so I'm going to roll for each of these aircraft and see how much they actually cost. So I'm going to roll D6 and check it on this list here. So first aircraft, it's a Gazelle. How much is it actually worth? 4. Actual price, that's fine. Oh. Okay, Alouette 3. It is 30% more expensive. So I'm going to take the price of 5 and multiply it by 1.3. This is where a calculator is somewhat handy. So that gives us 6.5. We usually round up, so it'll be 7. And I'm just going to delete this because we know that's all million rand. 7. Cool. So MiG-23 is also 30% more expensive. So 22 times 1.3 is 28.6, which becomes 29. 29. T6 Texan. 4 actual price, so we don't need to change that. Mirage is 5, which those are 5, so that's 25% cheaper. So I'm going to do 26 times 0.75, which equals 19.5, which becomes 20. We always round up. So there's a cheaper Mirage there on the market. Oops, that was a 3, so that's actual price. And then a Mirage 3E, 4 actual price, so that's totally fine. I'll put my phone on silence before it causes any more issues there. Okay, so that's all the aircraft sorted. We'll then go for our missile, various ordnance. This R550s, 1, they're 30% more expensive, so 0.4 times 1.3, that's 0.552, which becomes 0.6. I'll just delete these as well. We all know it's million rand. Hot missiles, 25% more expensive, 0.2 times 0 times 1.25 is 0.25, which becomes 0.3. So whoops, so they're not cheap. R13 atolls, whoopsie. Actual price, so that's fine. Kukris, actual price, R13 atolls, actual price. So you don't have to change all the prices, which is nice. Okay, what's next? New ordinance. Helicopter rockets and bombs are always available, so that's fine. And here's the part where it says all ordnance costs are divided by 10 after rounding. And oh, so I should have rounded and done price adjustment, then divided by 10, but that's fine. Whatever, same stuff. Cool. Next up, we're going to generate available missions. We generate so we'll generate D6 plus 4 available new missions. So 8 new missions. So let's roll them. I'll go back to my weapons market. Available mission. We have 8 of these. And what I'll do is I'll just make this a bit smaller over here, perhaps. I can make this resize this. Usually I'd use 2 windows here, so okay. So rolling. Blue is always the 10s. 6-1 is a high risk close air support. 2-1 is a low risk close air support. Our forces need support. 3-5 is a strike medium risk. 1-2 is another strike, is a strike low risk. I'm just copying these out of the PDF here. 5-5 is a strike high risk. 3-6 is a combat air patrol medium risk. 2-3 is a combat air patrol low risk. How many have I got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 more to go. 1-6 is a combat air patrol low risk, which is the same as one before. I just copied over. Now the potential pay is shown down below. So high risk is 15. You got high risks, medium risks at 10, and low risks are 5. Sorry, medium risk is 8. Low risk 5. That's roughly the potential pay. Okay, and it says here you can use whatever aircraft you like. So close air combat air patrol, you could take helicopters out if you wanted to. You could do whatever you like. It's your mercenaries. Go for it. Okay, so those are the missions available. Now at this point you'd probably start saying, okay, well I need to buy some aircraft. I need to actually do some stuff here. So I got 60 points, 60 million rand. I'm going to buy an aircraft or 2. I got 2 pilots. What am I going to do? Let's see. The Gazelle's quite cool in that I could do ground attacks. The ceiling's very low, so I could just like be down low and blow stuff up, potentially. And there is a lot of close air support missions available, which is not too bad. Well, okay, so there's 2 close air support. One's low risk, one's high risk, so it's not that great. A couple of strikes, so it'll also be good for strikes. And we've got a couple of combat air patrols. We could have 1 each. We could have 1 pilot in a Gazelle or something, and 1 pilot flying combat air patrol in probably, let's see, what would I use? MiG-23 is quite nice here. It's a bit slower. Oh, maybe it's not that nice. It'll have to be using these quite old missiles too, so that's not that great. I think one of the Mirage F1s might be the way to go. It has long radar range. We have Magic R550s, which is a IR guided. So all the missiles we can find are IR guided and have quite low range, so it's not really great for standoff dogfighting. You'd have to be in there pretty close to do any damage here, but it's good to have some kind of combat air patrol. So what I might do is just take this Gazelle, because I think that's pretty cool. I'll put it in my aircraft roster. That cost me 7 million rand. So I've got 53 remaining. I'll also want to buy all these hot missiles. So here I've got, they're 11 times 0.3, so it's cost me $3.3 million for all these hot missiles. I just copy and paste them in there. So that's 3.3 million, so I'm down to 49.7. I'll just delete these other 2 rows of this pilot roster just to keep everything on the same page. What else do I want to buy? I think we'll get the one or a Mirage or Mirage or a Mirage. What do you guys think? I'll probably go for the cheaper Mirage F1CZ. Slightly faster, has that longer radar, though it doesn't really matter in this situation. It's fast climb 2, nothing's powerful. Oh, the MiG's powerful, which could help a lot actually. This has 230 mils though. 230 mil cannons is pretty meaty, and that'll do a lot of damage. Combine that with the ability to fire two of the different types of missiles we got here, and these guys have very good quality. There's a very good quality missile. It's always gonna succeed. You don't have to roll for it to succeed, unlike these guys. The Kukri's terrible. South Africa, what are you doing? That's a okay. 5+ successful launch. That's Vietnam tier crap. So really, I shouldn't worry about that. Okay, yeah, that's probably the way to go. I'll take this Mirage F1. The 230 mils are gonna keep me sorted, and I'll buy some of those magic R550s. There's 8, and they're 0.6. They're 600,000 rand. So that is 8 times 0.6 will cost me $4.8 million. 4.8 million rand, and I'll put those in my ordnance. 4.8. Can I do this maths? 5, 4.9, I believe. Hopefully I'm correct there. I'm not going to work with no calculator, but it's close enough. And that is me pretty much sorted. I think I've got 2 pilots, so one can be in the Gazelle, firing off some missiles down low. The other guy can be in close combat air patrol. And I think that'll give me a couple options to do some of these, for example, close air support, maybe that low risk one, maybe the strike low risk. At least that way of covering some bases. I've got someone who can go in there and blow some stuff up on the ground, and someone who can cover me up above. And I can just move these back up here. Stuff can go back up as well. Just copying and pasting, or cutting and pasting there. I mean, you could just leave holes in and fill them in later, but... okay, is there anything else I want to buy here? What have I got left? 44... Oh, this doesn't really cost me very much, has it? It's all pretty cheap, which is good. Okay. I've only spent 27 million rand on aircraft, so that's why I've got so much left over. Which doesn't quite make sense. What did I start with? 80? 80 million? Yeah, this is like easy-ish mode, average mode, so you do have quite a bit to start with. 80s. 60 points, so that doesn't quite make sense, does it? Okay, let's work it out. 60 minus 27 minus 0.3 times 11 minus 0.6 times 8. 24.9, that sounds more correct. Don't know how I screwed that up. 24.9, maybe I was looking at the wrong table there. I should have started the game with 60 points. Maybe I gave myself 80 points and screwed that up somehow. Anyway, I don't have as much money as I thought, but that's fine. It's still plenty. Yeah, if you're ever unsure and something doesn't look right, just go work it out, because you don't want to try not to cheat the system. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready to start to choose a mission and actually fly the mission. I could, if you really wanted to be careful, you could buy this Alouette and hire a pilot to fly it. That way you have someone back at base who can come and pick you up if you get shot down. And that's probably what I should have done last campaign, where I took 2 MiG-29s and nothing else, and just got shot down badly, and that was it. It was game over after the first mission. Although I did take choose a high-risk combat air patrol mission, so that was a bad choice. Especially when I had no missiles, I just had guns, so it didn't go too well. It could be a good idea to just hire a pilot and buy that helicopter just to kind of have someone to rescue the pilots if they go down. And they can just run off the table as well, so it's kind of up to you if you want to spend money on this or just save it for later. Yeah. And this helicopter can always go and pick one of them up if they get into trouble. What's the range on a hot missile? 8 inches. Wow, that's really, really low. Hopefully I can destroy stuff without getting into staying out of range of anti-aircraft artillery or SAM sites. So that's going to be interesting. Anyway, I'm pretty much all set up to do my first mission. The next step is just to choose a mission and fly it. So yeah, that'll get you set up on your Mercenary Air campaign. You'll put your mission in here once you choose it. For example, let's say I choose a low-risk close air support. I'll just take it out of there. Put it in here. Whoops. And the risk is low. I'll just type that in. And then I just put in, you know, which pilot's in which. So we've got a Tom McThomason and Ralph Finson. Okay, great names, amazing. So we'll say Gazelle with Tom, and you can say which turn you're entering. Generally, I just enter turn 1, and we've got the what's the other one? Mirage F1 with Ralph, and then you just put in anything you destroyed and a mission result and notes, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that way you know who's in who and who gets hurt or gains experience, etc. And yeah, that's pretty much ready to go. So hope you guys have enjoyed that. I'll probably do another video on how to do the solo games, the actual game of Missile Threat, and how to apply the results, that kind of stuff back to this. So awesome. Might see you guys next time.